back now to give you the legal edge, and here, as always, is attorney Bryan Waldman from the Sinus Stramus Law Firm. School really close to starting. Some areas, some kids have already started. Oh my goodness. So last year, Bryan was kind enough to go over some of the laws that relate to when school is back in session, and we both think that it's important that we kind of revisit that again, right, Bryan?
Absolutely. I mean, we're all creatures of habit, and so we get used to driving a certain speed limit, and all of a sudden the first day of school, and boom, the speed limit changes. And so we need these reminders. And then some of the stuff just happens to confuse people every year, and so we need a reminder on what the law is.
And we want to put a lot of focus on school buses specifically for this segment. So, and you know, even when school's in session for months and months, people still forget some of the laws around school buses. So let's talk about those.
Absolutely. See people violating the laws regarding what to do around school buses all the time, and it's obviously very important. Once you see those yellow flashing lights, if you're traveling in either direction, you've got an obligation to start to slow down. When the lights start flashing red, you've got an obligation to stop at least 20 feet away from the bus and remain stopped until those lights are turned off and the bus begins traveling down the road. And a lot of people think if the bus driver doesn't put a stop sign up, you don't need to stop. That's not the law. The stop sign's a nice convenience to have, a nice reminder, but it's the flashing lights that make the difference.
Okay, so pay very close attention to that. What are the penalties associated for breaking laws like that?
Well, around a school bus, if you break the law, it's 3 points on your driving record, there's a fine, and the judge can order someone who violates that law to engage in up to 100 hours of community service at a school.
Oh, wow. Fitting, very fitting. What about crossing guards this time of the year?
Yeah, crossing guards are very important. Obviously, as soon as the crossing guard puts that sign up and steps into the crosswalk, you need to stop, and you need to stay stopped until the crossing guard is completely out of the crosswalk. And the offense there is even more serious. It's a misdemeanor crime if you violate the law.
And then I think last year too, you reminded us about blocking sidewalks. Why is that important not to block?
It's always the law that you can't block the sidewalk with your car, you can't block the sidewalk with your shrubs, but this time of year it's particularly important because if you do, it forces kids potentially into the street where they could be seriously injured or even killed. Okay,
and we're talking about, life or death potentially here with school buses and kids on the road, so let's just be overly cautious this time of the year.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you, Bryan, as always, for giving us the legal edge.
Thank you, Siobhan.